All right, let's get right into this explainer. Welcome, board members and executive stakeholders. Today, we're talking about the hidden liability, ethical design, and regulatory risk. Look, right now, there is a critical, unseen operational threat lurking right beneath the surface of your digital infrastructure. For years, boardroom conversations about digital risk have been almost entirely dominated by cybersecurity and data privacy, and those are absolutely vital for sure. But there is this new frontier of compliance that is quietly generating massive financial and reputational exposure for companies. This isn't just an IT issue, and it certainly isn't some minor marketing hurdle. The way your digital interfaces guide, influence, or frankly, potentially deceive your users, that is now a paramount governance imperative that requires your immediate attention. Regulators aren't just looking at how you protect data anymore, they are heavily scrutinizing how you acquire it and how you monetize user behavior. Okay, let's dive into this. Is your website secretly manipulating users without you even realizing it? I really want you to treat this not as some hypothetical scenario, but as a literal ticking time bomb within your operations. Just imagine this. A customer tries to buy a single product on your platform only to find out weeks later that they've been opted into a monthly premium subscription tier without their clear knowledge. Sounds crazy, right? But this happens every single day across major digital platforms. And right now, your own digital assets might be employing these hidden friction-based tactics that are actively threatening the long-term brand loyalty you've spent years and millions of dollars building. Because when a user feels tricked, they don't just quietly churn. They become incredibly vocal detractors. They initiate chargebacks, they file complaints, and in today's highly connected world, that isolated frustration quickly scales into systemic brand damage. So what are we actually dealing with here? We're talking about dark patterns, deceptive design practices that trick users into making decisions they didn't actually intend to make. And I need to be perfectly clear with you all, this is not just abstract design jargon, and it's not a theoretical debate about user experience. This is a severe business risk. When a user interface intentionally misleads a consumer, whether that's obscuring costs, disguising ads as native content, or making it ridiculously hard to decline tracking, you are crossing a very dangerous line from standard marketing persuasion straight into illegal manipulation. Agencies like the FTC in the US and GDPR regulators across Europe are heavily cracking down on these exact practices right now. They are issuing massive fines, demanding algorithmic disgorgement, and enforcing strict consent mandates. The legal tolerance for digital deception has completely vanished. And this brilliantly illustrates what we're talking about. Look at these common deceptive UX tactics: hidden subscriptions, confusing cancel buttons, forced signups, and misleading pop-ups. These hidden subscriptions quietly auto-renew without any clear upfront consent. You get forced signups that totally block access to basic info, and misleading pop-ups intentionally designed with confusing language so users click the exact opposite of what they actually want. But honestly, perhaps the most damaging of all is the confusing cancel button. In the industry, they call this the Roach Motel. It's this design architecture where it's incredibly frictionless for a customer to sign up and hand over their credit card, but nearly impossible for them to leave. They're forced to navigate through obscure menus, make phone calls during weird limited hours, or argue with relentless retention bots just to cancel a simple service. This doesn't just frustrate users, it actively destroys the very foundation of brand loyalty and triggers immediate regulatory audits. And the scary part? These mechanics might be live on your platforms right now, completely off your executive radar. So, the crucial point is the real business impact. We are weighing catastrophic legal fallout and shattered customer trust against your ultimate goal: transparent, user-friendly experiences that compound long-term brand loyalty. Every single deceptive tactic operating on your platform carries a massive quantifiable cost. The legal fallout alone can be devastating. We're talking about class action lawsuits, regulators forcing mandatory structural changes to your revenue funnels, and severe financial penalties. But on the flip side, trust is a literal, tangible balance sheet asset. When you prioritize transparency, you secure higher lifetime customer value, you get lower acquisition costs through positive word of mouth, and you build deep, lasting brand loyalty. As stakeholders, that lasting loyalty and strict compliance are your ultimate goals. You simply cannot achieve a sustainable, loyal customer base if you're ignoring massive manipulative liabilities that are actively eroding trust in the background. The era of just assuming your digital interfaces are compliant is over. Let's be real. Internal teams are driven by aggressive key performance indicators and conversion targets, so they often develop a huge blind spot to the manipulative nature of the designs they're actually deploying. To eliminate this blind spot entirely, you need objective, specialized validation, a dark pattern assessment from Lumiverse Solutions. As a board, you absolutely need an independent third-party audit to guarantee your digital assets aren't operating as a hidden liability. This assessment gives you the unbiased scrutiny required to uncover those deeply embedded deceptive practices that your internal teams might miss. It's exactly how we shift our organizational posture from being cautionary and reactive to being completely confident and compliant. Let's move to and see how this builds into an actual, actionable mitigation plan for your operational teams. Step 1. Identify deceptive UI and UX elements. We conduct a forensic, comprehensive sweep of your entire digital footprint to find exactly where these dark patterns are hiding, mapping out every single user journey that relies on friction or misdirection. Step 2. Build transparent and user-friendly digital experiences to completely replace the deceptive ones. And this isn't just about, changing a few button colors. It is fundamentally rebuilding the digital architecture from the ground up, so transparency becomes a core feature of the product. This step directly protects the brand by ensuring every customer interaction is honest and empowering. And finally, step 3, ensure regulatory compliance. We implement ongoing monitoring systems that align your user interfaces with the latest global consumer protection laws. This effectively shields the board and the organization from future liability. This systematic path is exactly how we restore transparency and deeply mitigate the company's legal exposure. Now, what's really interesting about this is the core mandate moving forward. Build trust, stay compliant, choose ethical design with Lumiverse Solutions. By prioritizing this initiative right at the highest executive level, we fundamentally reframe what ethical design is. It's no longer viewed as a cost center or a compliance headache or some hindrance to rapid growth. Instead, it becomes a distinct competitive advantage and a direct driver of corporate compliance and essential consumer trust. In a marketplace where consumers are, let's face it, increasingly cynical and heavily guarded about their digital privacy and autonomy, being the brand that actually respects user intent and operates with absolute clarity, that is how you win. Ethical design is just good business. I'll leave you with this final thought today, speaking directly to your fiduciary duty to this organization and its shareholders. Ask yourselves, are your digital assets actively building consumer trust, or are they operating as a hidden legal liability? We can no longer afford to just guess the answer. The regulatory environment is fundamentally shifted, and consumer patience for manipulation has totally evaporated. The time to rigorously assess and course-correct your platforms is right now. Ensure your digital presence is as ethical, transparent, and legally resilient as the business you govern. Thank you for tuning into this explainer.